Guiding Light star Crystal Chappell tells it like it is.
I'll admit to being a catty bitch at times.
But she's a consummate professional.
I was seducing a man in Saran wrap.
She has her obsessions.
So I was checking out his butt.
But what this hot and humble vixen really wants to know is, why do you care?
I'm sick of myself. Enough already.
Soap siren Crystal Chappell plays ambitious sexpot Olivia Spencer on Guiding Light.
I was seducing a man in Saran wrap, little Post-its stuck on my body. That's how Olivia seduces men. She goes for kitchen products.
But she never takes her good fortune for granted.
It's really criminal to have a job like this and get paid for it.
Crystal Chappell was born in Silver Springs, Maryland. But she didn't stay there for very long.
We moved every 2 years. It was crazy. We were nomads. I always thought that, you know, possibly they were wanted for some kind of crime and we were on the run. Other than the fact that we didn't change our names.
It was hard for Crystal to move from place to place.
I wasn't that kid that just had all these friends. And I wasn't quite sure how long we were going to stay. So I might have been a little apprehensive to really open myself up.
As a lonely kid, Crystal retreated into a world of make-believe.
I've always had this great imagination, and I wanted to be Nancy Drew.
And it was a member of her family whose passion for soaps inspired her to act.
Watching soaps with my grandmother, I thought to myself, I want to do that. I want to act.
One day, while watching Days of Our Lives with her then-sick grandmother, the dying woman had a sudden revelation.
She paused and she looked at me and she looked at the television and she said, "You're going to be on that show one day." And she died about 8 months later.
After she graduated from high school, Crystal went to college to study computer science and journalism.
I went to the University of South Carolina for 2 years, but I really wanted to act.
Crystal's grandmother's prophecy was always in the back of her mind.
I ended up at the University of Maryland, Baltimore County, to study acting.
At Maryland, Crystal was cast in the college productions of Beauty and the Beast and Spring Awakening.
After college, I went to New York and started my career.
But she felt she needed more training before she could fulfill her dream of landing on a soap.
I started taking soap opera acting classes. Met some casting directors who invited me to come see them on their shows, and I read for them, and I got a part on All My Children for a day. It was 9 lines. Her name was Jane. She was a nurse.
Despite all her training, Crystal didn't feel like she was ready for the job.
It was scary as hell. I was scared to death. You know, this is my first job. I didn't know really what I was doing, and I think I did okay. It was probably a little stiff, but I don't think you could see me shaking.
Then, after a brief stint on NBC's Santa Barbara, Crystal redoubled her efforts to improve her acting.
I read this book, Sanford Meisner on Acting, and I really liked what I was reading, so I wrote him a letter and found out that he taught a course, and I spent a summer in the West Indies studying with this person, and then ended up coming back to the States, and he invited me to continue to study with him, and that's how I came to LA.
Crystal's return to Los Angeles was lucky. There, she was cast as strong-willed Dr. Carly Manning on Days of Our Lives.
Days of Our Lives, I really thought, was my first big role.
The pressure of playing a major character was too much at first.
Like I was just crumbling underneath it because I couldn't keep up. I had no idea, really, the pace. And that became just this monster, you know, on my back.
But Crystal decided to give the role her best shot.
You know, after a few teary nights, you know, I just thought I'm going to try the best I can, and if they replace me, they replace me. And I think I found my groove. I think that's really what has to happen. You have to get comfortable with the pace of daytime because it moves.
As Crystal's star began to shine, tensions rose on the set.
I was getting so much attention. I felt a certain resentment from other people who weren't getting as much attention, and I didn't know what to do about it. I think I just sort of spun out of control. I wasn't the easiest person to get along with when I was there. I think it was emotionally immature, but it was all too overwhelming for me.
Crystal may have felt like she was emotionally immature, but she was grown up enough to find a stable new relationship.
I did meet my husband there.
Actor Michael Sabatino arrived in Salem to play Lawrence Alamain.
He was cast as my ex-lover, So I was checking out his butt.
The on-screen sparks quickly ignited into off-screen passion, and they fell in love.
When I met him, I just knew there was something really special about the connection that we had, and it was from the moment we laid eyes on each other. I just remember thinking, this could be trouble.
Coming up, what do you get when you cross a convent with a carnival?
She slept with a guy, and then she wasn't sure she wanted to be a nun, but then she became a nun. And then eventually she learned to juggle.
And Crystal endures the rigors of pregnancy.
I still feel sexy when I'm pregnant.
Before Crystal Chappell dazzled guiding light fans as Olivia Spencer, she tried out for another role on the soap. Which role was it? Was it A, Cassie Lane, B, Terry DeMarco, or C, Jenna Bradshaw? The answer when we return. So what role did Crystal Chappell try out for before landing the part of Olivia Spencer? If you guessed B, you were right. Crystal Chappell lost the role of Terry DeMarco to Sidney Coleman of Blade Runner fame. By 1995, Crystal Chappell and Michael Sabatino had left Days of Our Lives and moved to New York City so each could start on new shows. Michael on All My Children and Crystal on One Life to Live.
I had a job, I was living in New York, I had my guy with me, and we had a blast. It was just so much fun.
On One Life to Live, Crystal played the crazy mixed-up soul Maggie Carpenter.
The role was this wannabe nun. Then she slept with a guy, and then she wasn't sure she wanted to be a nun, but then she became a nun. And then eventually she learned to juggle.
The part was fun for Crystal, but it wasn't very satisfying.
She was quirky and weird, and I didn't work much.
But off-camera, her relationship with Michael had taken off. They were married on January 6, 1997.
My wedding to Michael was an elopement to City Hall. It really was one of those, you want to get married this weekend? Sure. So yeah, we went out, got a license, and the next day we went down and got married. And it was the best 5 minutes of my life.
In 1997, when her contract was up at One Life to Live, Crystal decided not to stay.
I felt that I needed to find something else.
As luck would have it, her prayers were answered.
Guiding Light called, and I went into audition and got the part.
The part was the role of foxy financier Olivia Spencer.
It was a short-term role, and I think she was to be killed off at the end of the summer. But luckily for me, she wasn't.
Crystal was thrilled with her new role.
She started out as just a very wounded soul that resorted to tactics to get what she wanted. Again, she couldn't vocalize what she needed, so she just manipulated and slept with men and whatever.
And some of Olivia's bedroom antics proved to be very entertaining.
I was seducing a man in saran wrap, little Post-its stuck on my body. That's how Olivia seduces men. She goes for kitchen products.
Crystal can break down Olivia's character pretty easily.
Not only do I like myself, I love myself.
She's a catty bitch is what she is. She's just a bitch.
And she admits that sometimes playing Olivia isn't much of a stretch.
I'll admit to being a catty bitch at times. I can be. Normally I try to be fair about things, but sometimes things come out of you.
Oh, she's bossy. I like her.
Within a month of signing her contract at Guiding Light, Crystal learned that she was pregnant with her first child. And in 2002, she and Michael welcomed Jacob.
I just wept when I first saw him, and I just felt, I think for the first time in my life, like everything was just right. Everything was just as it should be.
A second child, Dylan, was born in 2003.
If I had a wish to grant for my kids, I think I just want them to be happy. I want them to be who they are, and I want them to be happy.
Sure, Crystal Chappell is happy to have a wonderful career.
It's fun, and we laugh. It's really criminal to have a job like this and get paid for it.
But she also has 2 beautiful children and a happy marriage. And that's what matters most to her.
I'm proud of our family. It really is who I am. I'm Crystal Sabatino, and I'm Jacob and Dylan's mommy and Michael's wife.
It was really fun. It was a lot of fun to do.